Alexander the Great. From student of Aristotle to world conqueror, exploring how Alexander's education and upbringing shaped his vision, character, and ambition. This narrative follows his journey from his formative years under Aristotle's mentorship to his transformation into a legendary conqueror who changed the course of history. Alexander the Great. From student of Aristotle to world conqueror. Alexander III of Macedon, known to history as Alexander the Great, was not just a warrior but a visionary shaped by both his heritage and his education. His extraordinary journey, from being a young student under the tutelage of the great philosopher Aristotle to becoming the ruler of one of the largest empires in history, reveals how his early influences and education molded him into one of the most iconic figures of the ancient world. This is the story of how Alexander's mind, molded by philosophy and strategy, led him on a path to world conquest. Chapter 1. The Birth of a Future King. Alexander was born in 356 BCE in the ancient city of Pella, Macedonia, to King Philip II and Queen Olympias. His parents were powerful figures. Philip was a brilliant military leader who united the Greek city-states under Macedonian rule, and Olympias was known for her intelligence, ambition, and fervent devotion to religion. From a young age, Alexander was exposed to the ideas of leadership, divine destiny, and a relentless drive for greatness. His mother encouraged his belief that he was a descendant of Achilles, the hero of Homer's Iliad, fostering in him a sense of destiny. As the son of a king, Alexander received the best possible education. His father prepared him for a life of rule, ensuring he was trained in the arts of war and governance. But Philip wanted his son to be not only a warrior but also a wise and knowledgeable ruler. Thus, he brought in Aristotle, one of Greece's most respected philosophers, to be Alexander's tutor. Chapter 2. Under the guidance of Aristotle. When Alexander was 13, Aristotle began tutoring him in the secluded town of Mysa. Aristotle's influence on Alexander was profound and enduring. He taught Alexander about philosophy, ethics, science, and literature, instilling in him a love for knowledge and a respect for Greek culture. Through Aristotle, Alexander became captivated by Homer's Iliad, identifying with the hero Achilles and striving to emulate his courage, honor, and loyalty. Aristotle's teachings shaped Alexander's worldview, planting the seeds of an ambition that went beyond mere conquest. Alexander was taught that Greeks were the pinnacle of civilization and that it was their duty to spread Greek culture and ideals. This idea of cultural superiority, combined with a respect for knowledge, would later drive Alexander to bring Greek culture to the lands he conquered, blending it with the cultures of the East. Aristotle also taught Alexander about politics, governance, and the importance of philosophy in ruling justly. Alexander's fascination with philosophy would later inform his approach to ruling his empire, where he sought not just to dominate but to understand and incorporate diverse cultures. Chapter 3. Proving himself in battle. By the time he was 16, Alexander was already showing promise as a military leader. When Philip went off to campaign, he left Alexander in charge of Macedonia. During this period, Alexander quelled a rebellion, showing his prowess and determination. Soon after, he joined his father in battles, including the decisive Battle of Kyrenia in 338 BCE, where Alexander led a cavalry charge that broke the Greek lines, securing Macedonian dominance over Greece. Through these early experiences, Alexander proved his abilities on the battlefield and gained the respect of his father's army. Philip's respect for his son grew, but so did tensions between them, partly due to Olympias's influence and Alexander's independent spirit. Despite these conflicts, Philip's military accomplishments provided Alexander with a strong foundation, and Philip's assassination in 336 BCE left Alexander with a united Greece and a powerful army. Chapter 4. Ascension to the throne and securing power. At 20, Alexander ascended the throne of Macedonia after his father's assassination. The transition was not without challenges. There were political rivals and rebellious regions that threatened his authority. Alexander moved quickly and decisively to consolidate his power. He executed potential rivals and quelled rebellions in the Greek city-states, securing his control over Greece. To cement his authority, Alexander led a brutal campaign against the rebellious city of Thebes, razing it to the ground as a warning to any other cities that might challenge him. This act demonstrated Alexander's ruthlessness and sent a clear message. He was prepared to lead with an iron fist. With Greece firmly under his control, Alexander set his sights on a much greater prize, the Persian Empire, the vast, wealthy empire to the east. Chapter 5. The Invasion of Persia, a Bold Gamble. In 334 BCE, with an army of 35,000 soldiers, Alexander crossed the Hellespont into Asia Minor, beginning his campaign against Persia. His goal was not just to conquer territories but to fulfill a personal mission he saw as divine, to spread Greek culture and avenge Persia's past invasions of Greece. Alexander's first major encounter with Persian forces came at the Battle of Granicus, where his bold decision to lead a direct charge across a river stunned the Persian army. This victory opened the path into Asia Minor, allowing Alexander to liberate Greek cities under Persian rule. By portraying himself as a liberator, he gained local support and reinforced his reputation as a leader on a mission. Each victory bolstered Alexander's belief in his destiny and his ability to outmaneuver larger forces. His education under Aristotle had taught him to approach challenges with both intellect and courage, and he applied these lessons as he advanced deeper into Persian territory. Chapter 6. Facing Darius III at Issus. In 333 BCE, Alexander met Darius III, the Persian king, at the Battle of Issus. Darius had assembled an enormous army, confident that his superior numbers would overwhelm Alexander. But the narrow terrain of Issus worked in Alexander's favor, allowing him to use his smaller, more disciplined force to his advantage. Alexander positioned his phalanx in the center, flanked by his companion cavalry. Leading a charge himself, Alexander broke through the Persian lines and forced Darius to flee. The victory at Issus was a turning point, both militarily and psychologically. It showed that the Macedonian army could defeat the Persian king himself, and it solidified Alexander's determination to pursue Darius and conquer Persia entirely. After the battle, Alexander captured Darius's family and treated them with respect, demonstrating the values of honor and magnanimity Aristotle had instilled in him. This act earned him admiration among the Persians and exemplified his approach of respecting local customs and leaders. Chapter 7. The Conquest of Egypt and the Founding of Alexandria. Continuing his march through Persia, Alexander turned southward and entered Egypt in 332 BCE. The Egyptians, who resented Persian rule, welcomed Alexander as a liberator. He was crowned as pharaoh and recognized as a divine figure, marking a crucial moment in his journey to becoming more than just a king. During his time in Egypt, Alexander founded the city of Alexandria, which he envisioned as a center of Greek culture and learning. His education under Aristotle inspired him to create a city where knowledge could flourish, and Alexandria would later become one of the most significant cultural and intellectual centers of the ancient world. Alexander's vision for Alexandria reflected his ambition to create a lasting legacy that combined Greek and Eastern cultures. Chapter 8. The Battle of Gaugamela, the Decisive Victory. In 331 BCE, Alexander faced Darius for a final time at the Battle of Gaugamela, where Darius had gathered one of the largest armies in history. The battle took place on the plains of Gaugamela, an ideal location for Darius's chariots and war elephants. Yet, through tactical brilliance, Alexander managed to break the Persian lines once again, leading a daring charge toward Darius, who fled the battlefield. The victory at Gaugamela was the culmination of Alexander's Persian campaign. He was now the undisputed ruler of the Persian Empire, controlling lands from Greece to the Indus Valley. Alexander's conquest was not just a military achievement but a fulfillment of his ambition to unite East and West. His education under Aristotle had shaped his worldview, driving him to approach his empire not merely as a conqueror, but as a ruler who respected and integrated diverse cultures. Chapter 9. The Road to India, Unstoppable Ambition. With Persia under his control, Alexander turned his sights eastward, pushing into Central Asia and eventually reaching India. His ambition seemed boundless, and he encountered new cultures, landscapes, and challenges that would test his leadership and vision. In India, he faced King Porus at the Battle of Hydaspes in 326 BCE, a difficult battle that showcased his strategic adaptability and resilience. Despite achieving victory, Alexander's men grew weary and longed to return home. Realizing the limits of his ambition, Alexander finally agreed to turn back. His desire to explore the unknown edges of the world remained unfulfilled, but his eastern conquests had expanded Greek influence and opened the door for cultural exchange across continents. Chapter 10. The Legacy of Alexander the Great, a Conqueror and a Visionary. Alexander's conquest of the Persian Empire and his journey to India left an indelible mark on history. His upbringing under Aristotle gave him a respect for knowledge, a drive to spread Greek culture, and a vision for a unified empire. Alexander founded cities across his territories, many of which became centers of learning, art, and trade. Greek became the common language, facilitating a cultural blend that gave rise to the Hellenistic Age. Though Alexander died young in 323 BCE, his legacy endured. The Hellenistic kingdoms that followed preserved his vision of cultural exchange, creating a world where Greek, Persian, Egyptian, and Indian cultures interacted and thrived. Conclusion. From student to legend. Alexander's journey from Aristotle's student to world conqueror is a testament to the power of education, ambition, and vision. His upbringing and learning shaped his philosophy of leadership, inspiring him to create an empire that was more than just territories. It was a bridge between East and West. Alexander's legacy is one of ambition tempered by intellect, of conquest balanced with respect for culture. He remains a figure who bridged worlds, embodying the ideals of both a warrior and a philosopher, and proving that knowledge can